In this 1-hour lesson, you're going to improve your listening skills of fast English, but I'm going to test you throughout this entire lesson. And if you can complete this entire lesson and understand me when I talk fast and use natural expressions, then you're definitely fluent in English. But to successfully complete this lesson, you need to understand the words I say and understand the meaning of the words. So let's see if you can pass. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. Thanks for your help. You rock. Thanks for your help, you rock. Thanks for your help, you rock. Did you get this one? I said, thanks for your help, you rock. Very easy, right? At a natural pace, native speakers, we reduce sound. So for becomes fur, thanks for. Your becomes your. Thanks for your. Thanks for your help, your help. Thanks for your help. Now let's review a common mistake that I hear beginner students make and sometimes even advanced students. You can say thank you or thanks. You cannot say thanks you or thank. And notice in our example we have thanks for your help. Thanks for your help. What is your help? This is a noun. So we have thanks for plus noun. You can also use thanks for plus gerund because for is a preposition. So what would thanks for your help be in the gerund form? Do you know? Thanks for helping me. Thanks for your help. Thanks for helping me. And you rock, this is a very natural way to say you're great, you're awesome. I use this in the comment section to reply to your lovely comments all the time. But don't say you are rock. It is not to be rock, it is to rock. You rock, you're awesome, you're really great, you rock. Put that in the comments, you rock, you rock.
Thanks for your help.
Thanks for helping me.
Thanks, Billy. You rock.
You rock.
Thanks, honey.
Are you enjoying this lesson? If you are, then I want to tell you about the Finally Fluent Academy. This is my premium training program where we study native English speakers from TV, the movies, YouTube, and the news so you can improve your listening skills of fast English, expand your vocabulary with natural expressions, and learn advanced grammar easily. Plus, you'll have me as your personal coach. You can look in the description for the link to learn more, or you can go to my website and click on Finally Fluent Academy. Now let's continue with our lesson. Let's try this again, a little more difficult. I'll say it 3 times. She's starting to rub off on you. She's starting to rub off on you. She's starting to rub off on you. Did you get this one? I said she's starting to rub off on you. She's is our contraction. She is, she's. She's starting to. So instead of to, you can use an unstressed to. She's starting to rub off. Because rub off is a phrasal verb, they go together. I can take that B sound and connect it to the next word, but I have to combine them together. I have to say them as one word. Rub off, boff, rub off, rub off. I can also take that on and add it together. So I'm saying those 3 words as one. Rub off on. So here I'm taking the F from off and I'm adding it to on. Fawn. Rub off on. Rub off on. Rub off on you. What does this mean? To rub off on someone is when someone's behavior or personality affects someone else. Let's take Janice, and let's say Janice loves helping other people. Now let's say Fernando spends a week working with Janice, and now Fernando starts helping other people. You could say Janice rubbed off on Fernando. Here we have it in the past simple, rubbed, rubbed off on. Janice rubbed off on Fernando. Now, you could also take the specific personality trait or characteristic, in this case, Janice's helpfulness, which is a noun. Janice's helpfulness, because the helpfulness belongs to Janice, so it's possessive. Janice's helpfulness rubbed off on Fernando. So that specific character trait of Janice transferred to Fernando because they spent time together.
Marcus is really rubbing off on you.
Finally, I'm rubbing off on you.
My deviousness has finally rubbed off on you.
Let's try this again. I'll say it 3 times. He rubs me the wrong way. He rubs me the wrong way. He rubs me the wrong way. Did you get this one? I said, he rubs me the wrong way. Notice this expression uses the verb to rub, and our last expression used the verb to rub, but they have completely different meanings. And that's why this is a more advanced listening exercise, because maybe you understood the words, but you don't know what this means. To rub someone the wrong way. This is to annoy someone, but without intending to. Remember Janice from our last example, and she was very helpful, but maybe for some reason, she just rubs you the wrong way. She annoys you, but there's nothing that she does to annoy you, just maybe your personalities clash. They don't go together. So if you're planning a social gathering, you might say, is it okay if we don't invite Janice? She rubs me the wrong way. Now, an entire person like poor Janice can rub you the wrong way, but it also could be something specific that someone said or did. And overall, you like Janice, but just that one thing she said or did rubbed you the wrong way. For example, your comment just rubbed me the wrong way. So maybe she said something in a meeting that really annoyed you, but you know she did not intend to annoy you. So here, your comment, this is a noun. Your comment rubbed the past simple of the verb to rub, and notice that soft D, rubbed, rubbed me the wrong way.
Wait, is it me? But do I rub you the wrong way?
Not Jay. Guy rubs me the wrong way.
She rubs everyone the wrong way, but Pop.
Our final listening exercise, and the most advanced, I'll say it 3 times. I had a hunch he'd quit. I had a hunch he'd quit. I had a hunch he'd quit. Did you get this one? I said, I had a hunch he'd quit. Notice for pronunciation, I had a. So I combine had a together as one word. I had a hunch he'd quit. Now, did you hear that the he'd quit? Well, that D represents what word? Would. He would quit, he'd quit. He'd quit. Very difficult for students to hear. Native speakers understand it based on context and based on grammatical structure. It would sound awkward without it. So we know it's there even though we can't really hear it either. When you have a hunch is the noun, and then the verb that goes with it is have. So to have a hunch, this is when you think or predict that something is going to happen, but it isn't based on facts, it's based on your intuition, your feeling. So you could say, I have a hunch she'll accept our invitation. Now, if someone replies back and says, why? All you would say is, because I have a hunch. I have a feeling. I have a gut feeling. And notice the grammar here. I have a hunch. This is the present simple. And then she'll accept, she will accept. That's the future simple. I have a hunch she'll accept our invitation, because you're making a prediction about the future. But you could use this in the past, like our listening exercise. I had a hunch last week in the past, so that's the past simple. Last week, I had a hunch that he would quit. So would is the past simple of the verb will. I had a hunch that he'd quit. And using that is optional. You don't need it. You could simply say, I had a hunch he'd quit.
I had a hunch.
Just a hunch.
I had a hunch, but I wasn't certain.
Now let's do an imitation exercise so you can practice speaking fast just like a native. I'll say each sentence again 3 times, and this time I want you to repeat each sentence out loud. Here we go. Thanks for your help, you rock. Thanks for your help, you rock. Thanks for your help, you rock. She's starting to rub off on you. She's starting to rub off on you. She's starting to rub off on you. He rubs me the wrong way. He rubs me the wrong way. He rubs me the wrong way. I had a hunch he'd quit. I had a hunch he'd quit. I had a hunch he'd quit. Let's try this again. I'll say it 3 times. It's not a big deal at all. It's not a big deal at all. It's not a big deal at all. Did you get this one? I said it's not a big deal at all. It's a contraction of it is. Not a, we can combine these together, but notice we have a T between 2 vowels. So a native speaker is going to pronounce that as a soft D and say nada, nada. It's nada, it's nada. Big deal. And then we can do the same with at, with that T, and then all. I can put them together and then I'll pronounce that T as a soft D, and it sounds like at all, at all, at all, at all. It's not a big deal at all. Let's talk about what this means, to be a big deal. This describes something that's important, serious, or significant. We use this in both positive and negative situations. For example, when you do something and the consequences are serious in a bad way. Getting caught plagiarizing is a big deal. You could be expelled. So here the consequences are serious in a negative way. You could be expelled, which means permanently removed from your school.
Is that big of a deal? Yes, it's a big deal.
But we also use this in a positive way. Getting a promotion is a big deal. You can finally buy a house. So here, the promotion is important and significant for the impact it will have on your life. It's a big deal.
No big deal. It's a huge deal.
Now remember, our example was in the negative. It's not a big deal at all. So we can use this in 2 ways. First, to say that something isn't serious, significant, or important. For example, missing the party isn't a big deal. Your friend will understand. So the consequence of that action, missing the party, isn't very important or significant or serious.
It's really not a big deal.
It's not a big deal.
Now we also use this as a reply when someone offers appreciation or their thanks for something we did. Your friend could say, thanks for agreeing to help me move this weekend. I really appreciate it. And you can reply back and say, it's not a big deal at all. I'm happy to help. Now, if you want to sound really American and casual, you can reduce that entire sentence to 2 words, no biggie, no biggie. So no biggie represents it's not a big deal, no biggie.
Aw, no biggie.
It's really common with native speakers in a casual, informal way. So I could show my appreciation to you and say thank you so much for liking this video and subscribing. Don't forget to do those 2 things. And then you can reply back and say, no biggie, no biggie. It's not a big deal at all. I'm happy to. So put that in the comments. No biggie, no biggie, no biggie. Put that in the comments. Let's try this again. I'll say it 3 times. So what are you into? So what are you into? So what are you into? I said, so what are you into? What are can combine together, and that R can sound very reduced. Water, water, what-er. So in what are, water, water. So basically I'm forming a contraction in spoken English, although this does not exist as a contraction, is what we do in spoken English. So water, you can become more of an unstressed ya or ya, almost identical in pronunciation. Water, ya, into. So you can take into and change it to into. I didn't do that personally, but many native speakers do. So be prepared to hear to as ta. So what are you into? What are you into? This is a casual way to ask someone about their interests or preferences. So definitely add this to your vocabulary. It will help you sound like a Native American speaker.
So what exactly are you into, Jesse?
To reply, you can say I'm, to be into, I am, I'm into, plus a noun. I'm into music, art, yoga, photography, hiking, biking, or whatever other activity that you're into. It's also very common to answer what are you into just with a verb of preference and simply say, I like music, I love yoga, I adore photography, or whatever your interest or preference is.
So, what are you into? What about you, Sleeveless? What are you into?
Let's try this again. I'll say it 3 times. Can we play it by ear? Can we play it by ear? Can we play it by ear? Did you get this one? I said, can we play it by ear? Can is an auxiliary verb. It's there to ask the question. When it's an auxiliary verb, we pronounce it as kin, unstressed, because the main verb is what you hear, play. Can you play? Can you play? We can combine play and it together. I'll take that Y and I'll use it to connect. Play it, play it, play it. But you say it as one word. Can we play it by ear? Do you know what this means? When you play something by ear, it means that you make decisions as they happen rather than planning in advance. If your friend or spouse asks you, what should we do this weekend? And you don't want to make plans. You just want to decide as it's happening. So you wait until dinner to decide what you're going to have for dinner rather than planning it in advance the day before. You can say, let's just play it by ear. Let's just play it by ear.
You're right. Let's play it by ear.
Or someone asks, what are you going to do on vacation? Because they know you have a vacation planned. You can reply back and say, we have a few tours planned and we'll play the rest by ear. The rest being the rest of your vacation. We'll play the rest by ear. We'll decide what we want to do in the moment based on how we feel, based on where we are, based on the situation, rather than deciding in advance. What about you? When you're planning a vacation, do you prefer to have a full itinerary? Which means every day, all the activities you're going to do on that day are decided in advance. That's a full itinerary. Or do you prefer to play it by ear? No plans. You're just going to decide what to do based on how you feel. Or perhaps number 3, a little bit of both. So put in the comments your preference 1, 2, or 3. As for me, I would probably choose number 2, just to play it by ear. I like being more spontaneous, but my husband Kevin, he is definitely a full itinerary person, which I learned the first time we planned a vacation together. So now we do number 3, we do a little bit of both, so we both are satisfied. What about you? Share yours in the comments.
I don't know. Play it by ear. Why?
Let's try this one more time. I'll say it 3 times. Turns out I bought a knockoff. Turns out I bought a knockoff. Turns out I bought a knockoff. Did you get this one? Maybe a little more challenging. I said, turns out I bought a knockoff. Turns out, I can combine those together and it sounds like turns out. So I'm using that S to glide to the next word, but I say it as one word, turns out. Turns out I bought a, so bought is pronounced bought, so I can combine those together, boughta. Just like got a, native speakers commonly say gotta, well you can do the same thing with boughta. Knock, the K is silent, and off, because they go together, knock off, it's one word, I'm going to use that knock-off, cough. So I'm going to pronounce the final K on knock, and I'm going to pronounce it on off, knock off, knock off. Let's talk about what this means. Turns out, to turn out, this is an extremely common phrasal verb and is used in many expressions in daily speech. So definitely add it to your vocabulary. In this context, turns out is used to say that something is surprising or unexpected. So I did not expect this situation.
Turns out it was spam!
So let's say you were supposed to work late tonight and you knew about this last week. You've planned your entire week to work late today. You've made plans and arrangements, but then your boss says, oh, actually, you don't have to work late tonight. We finished the project. So you can say, oh, turns out I don't have to work late tonight, because it's unexpected, it's surprising, it's not what you thought. Turns out. Grammatically, there should be a subject here. It turns out I don't have to work late tonight. But this is called a dummy subject in English, where the subject it doesn't actually represent anything, it's just the existence, the situation. Because it's a dummy subject, in spoken English, we often drop it and just say, turns out I don't have to work late tonight. But in written English, a subject is required grammatically. Let's talk about a knockoff. What is this? Because turns out I bought a knockoff. What's a knockoff? A knockoff is a copy or an imitation of something, usually a product or service. Knockoffs are very common with designer brands. So the original is a Louis Vuitton handbag, which has a very distinct look to it. But there are a lot of knockoffs. They're fake. They're fake Louis Vuittons. And from a distance, you probably can't tell at all. But when you examine the quality of the material, it's very obvious. So in this situation, maybe it's my friend bought a Louis Vuitton, but turns out it was a knockoff.
Are these designer or knockoff?
Can't you just buy another knockoff?
That's actually a cubic zirconia knockoff.
Now let's do an imitation exercise so you can practice all of these pronunciation changes that take place in spoken English. I'll say each sentence again 3 times, and after I say the sentence, I want you to repeat the sentence out loud and imitate my pronunciation. Here we go. It's not a big deal at all. It's not a big deal at all. It's not a big deal at all. So what are you into? So what are you into? So what are you into? Can we play it by ear? Can we play it by ear? Can we play it by ear? Turns out I bought a knockoff. Turns out I bought a knockoff. Turns out I bought a knockoff. Let's try this again. I'll say it 3 times. Today, you're going to practice your listening skills. Here's how this lesson will work. I'm going to say a sentence 3 times at a natural pace, and you need to write down exactly what you hear in the comments. And this test will progress from beginner, A1, to more advanced, C1. Let's get started. Are you all set? Are you all set? Are you all set? I said, are you all set? Notice that the you becomes more of an unstressed ya or ya. So it's a very subtle difference, ya. Native speakers will use both, are ya, are you all set? And notice I don't push out that T, so set, all set. Now what does this mean, to be all set? This simply means to be ready. So you can use this all the time in your daily speech. So I could ask you, are you ready for your presentation tomorrow? And you can reply back with those two words, all set, all set. The full form would be, I am all set, and then you can just reduce that to all set, which means I'm ready for my presentation tomorrow. We commonly use this to confirm that someone is ready to leave. Leave a house, leave a restaurant, leave any location. Are you ready to go? And you can reply back with those two words, all set, which means I'm ready to go.
All set?
All set?
All set.
Let's try this again, a little more challenging. I'll say it 3 times. My week's off to a rocky start. My week's off to a rocky start. My week's off to a rocky start. Did you get this one? I said my week's off to a rocky start. Notice that contraction, weeks, that is week is. My week is, my week's. My week's off. And instead of saying to a, I can combine those together with a w, to. So I use that w to glide. To. My week's off to a rocky start. The reason why this is more difficult is because you may not know the expression. The expression is to be off, to a, and then adjective, start. And in this example, my adjective is rocky. My week's off to a rocky start. Rocky means difficult or uncertain.
He and I got off to a rocky start.
Alright, sure. Tonight got off to a weird rocky start.
We often use this adjective rocky to describe relationships. It could be a romantic relationship, a relationship with family or friends, or a relationship with your boss or coworker. Your friend might come to you upset and say, our relationship is a little rocky right now, and she wants your advice. But remember, you can use any adjective with this expression, so hopefully you'll use a positive one. My week's off to an amazing start. And notice, because my adjective starts with a vowel, my article becomes an amazing start.
Off to a great start.
So we're off to a good start.
And you can use this expression as a reply to, how's your week going? So why don't you practice this right now? How's your week going? And I want you to put in the comments, my week's off to a adjective start. And you choose the adjective. Put that in the comments. And hopefully it's a positive adjective. Let's try this again. I'll say it 3 times. What do you have on the go today? What do you have on the go today? What do you have on the go today? Did you get this one? I said, what do you have on the go today? Have you heard that native speakers pronounce what do you as what-ya? What-ya? We combine all those sounds together, what-ya. An alternative is whatcha, whatcha. And I use both of them equally, so it's important that you know both of them as well. And this question is how a native speaker will commonly ask, what are you doing today? So the expression is have on the go. What do you have on the go today? What are you doing today? Now, instead of have on the go, native speakers will also say, what do you have going on? So on the go is one option, Going on is another option. What do you have going on today?
Hey girl, what do you got going on today?
So to answer, maybe you could say, today I'm studying JForrest English lessons. Is that what you have going on today? Let's try this one more time. I'll say it 3 times. Did you nod off in the presentation too? Did you nod off in the presentation too? Did you nod off in the presentation too? Did you get this one? I said, did you nod off in the presentation too? Native speakers will combine did you and say did you. Did you. So you hear a j sound. Did you. Or we can reduce that to did ya or did ya. So that or So all 3 options are common. Nod off is a phrasal verb, so we'll pronounce it as one word, nod off. So notice I'll take that D sound and I'll connect it on the off, but I have to combine it together. Nod off, nod off, nod off. To nod off, this means that you fall asleep accidentally when you're not supposed to, like during a presentation. So hopefully you're not nodding off during this lesson right now. Or maybe you nodded off on the bus. I nodded off on the bus and missed my stop. Has that ever happened to you? Or maybe you see one of your coworkers nodding off. I think Sarah nodded off. Someone should wake her up before her boss sees her.
Did you just nod off?
I nodded off.
So I nodded off a little.
Nodded off? Ross, you were snoring.
Now let's do an imitation exercise so you can practice your pronunciation. I'm going to say each sentence again, and I want you to repeat the sentence aloud and imitate my pronunciation. Are you all set? Are you all set? Are you all set? My week's off to a rocky start. My week's off to a rocky start. My week's off to a rocky start. What do you have on the go today? What do you have on the go today? What do you have on the go today? Did you nod off in the presentation too? Did you nod off in the presentation too? Did you nod off in the presentation too? Let's try this again. I'll say it 3 times. I got a lot on my plate. I got a lot on my plate. I got a lot on my plate. Did you get this one? I said I got a lot on my plate. Now, got native speakers pronounce this as gotta, gotta. I got a lot on my plate. The expression is to have a lot on one's plate. Have you heard this? It's very common. When you have a lot on your plate, it means you're very busy. You have many different tasks to complete. Now notice in my spoken expression, I used got. I got a lot on my plate. I got a lot on my plate. Because native speakers commonly replace have with got in spoken English in a casual, informal way. But in written English or more formal professional English, it's best to use have. So let's see some examples. I could say, give the project to Isabel. Amar already has a lot on his plate. Now, of course, our verb is have, so you need to conjugate it with the subject and time reference. In this case, Amar, third person singular. Amar has in the present simple. And notice, Amar has a lot on his plate because the expression requires a possessive, his plate. We also use this expression to talk about a time we were busy in the past. So you have to conjugate that verb. We had a lot on our plate because the subject is we. So now I need our plate. And then you can use a past simple time reference. Last week with the conference.
I got a lot on my plate right now.
I just got a lot on my plate.
Hey, I got a lot on my plate.
Let's try this again. I'll say it 3 times. I'm thinking of taking up sewing. I'm thinking of taking up sewing. I'm thinking of taking up sewing. How'd you do? I said, I'm thinking of taking up sewing. Take up is our phrasal verb. And notice I pronounced it as one, taking up, because the preposition belongs to the verb. Native speakers may drop that taking, that G sound, and it sounds more like taken. But then you have to connect the preposition, taken up. I'm thinking of taking up sewing. You may hear that. And did you get sewing? Because of course the pronunciation is the same as sew. There's no sewing though, adding an ing. So sewing is the activity, but the pronunciation is the same as the word sew. Let's talk about this phrasal verb. When you take up an activity or a hobby, it simply means start. And this is one of the reasons that students, you don't understand native speakers, because our vocabularies are filled with phrasal verbs, idioms, and expressions like this one. So remember our last expression, I have a lot on my plate? Let's combine these together. I'd love to take up sewing, but I already have so much on my plate at work. Of course, take is a verb, so you need to conjugate it. I could say Max took up guitar last year and he's already amazing. What about you? Are you thinking of taking up? Notice you need that gerund, thinking of, taking up. Are you thinking of taking up a new activity or hobby? Share that in the comments below.
We'll take up yoga or jogging, or, we'll be organized.
Taking up dressmaking?
Yeah, I am.
Well, Mrs. B and I did take up synchronized swimming.
Let's try a more advanced test. I'll say it 3 times. Have you nailed down the dates yet? Have you nailed down the dates yet? Have you nailed down the dates yet? I said, have you nailed down the dates yet? And the reason why this is more advanced is because I'm using an expression you may not be familiar with. For pronunciation, I said have you, but a lot of native speakers reduce you to just a ya, have ya nailed. So you might hear that. Now nailed, notice in the past simple that ed is a very soft D, nailed. But we have nailed down. So because I have a D sound on down and these two go together, I'll pronounce it as one and you'll only hear one D sound, nailed down. So it's pronounced exactly the same as nail down, but if you say it together, that D is used for both. Same with dates yet. Notice how that S blends into the Y for yet, dates yet. And it sounds like one word, dates yet. The phrasal verb here is to nail something down. And that's when you firmly establish or confirm something. So just think of it as 100% confirmed. I could say I'm not signing the contract until we nail down the terms. Once the terms are nailed down, they're 100% confirmed. So you can think of them as official. So then I'm comfortable signing the contract. In a more everyday context, you might say, let's nail down our vacation plans by the end of the week. And once your plans are nailed down, they're 100% confirmed, so you can get excited about your vacation. Now notice my question, have you nailed down the dates yet? What verb tense is that? It's the present perfect. And I'm using the present perfect because this is an unfinished timeline. If the person says no, it's still possible for them to nail down the dates, to confirm the dates, because it's unfinished. To reply, you can say no, not yet, because we use yet with the present perfect. No, I haven't nailed down the dates yet. Or you could say yes, I nailed down the dates, past simple, to show a completed past action. Or you could say, yes, I have nailed down the dates. This is the present perfect. It's a completed past action with a result in the present.
Once we nail down our mission.
I'm just nailing down the specifics.
I'll nail it down this week.
Let's do one more, even more advanced. I'll say it 3 times. You can't dodge his calls forever. You can't dodge his calls forever. You can't dodge his calls forever. Did you get this one? I said you can't dodge his calls forever. Now notice can't. In spoken English, I'm not going to pronounce that hard can't with the T. You can't dodge. Notice here the D is silent, the middle D, dodge, dodge. Dodge his calls forever. Now, what does dodge mean? To dodge. This is when you purposely avoid or ignore. So he's calling, but I'm not answering. I'm purposely ignoring it. I'm dodging his call. So to you, I might say you can't dodge speaking in public forever. You can't purposely avoid it or ignore the activity. At some point, you just have to do it. Now notice I use dodge speaking because you can dodge something, his call, or you can dodge doing something. So the verb in ing, dodge speaking. We sometimes use this in a more positive way. I might say, great job dodging that question. So maybe you were asked an inappropriate question in an interview or a meeting, but then you strategically avoided answering that question. So I might say, great job dodging that question.
She's dodging calls.
Why have you been dodging my calls?
She's dodging my phone calls.
Now let's do an imitation exercise. I'm going to say each sentence again 3 times, but I'm going to leave enough time for you to repeat the sentence out loud and imitate my pronunciation. Let's do that now. I got a lot on my plate. I got a lot on my plate. I got a lot on my plate. I'm thinking of taking up sewing. I'm thinking of taking up sewing. I'm thinking of taking up sewing. Have you nailed down the dates yet? Have you nailed down the dates yet? Have you nailed down the dates yet? You can't dodge his calls forever. You can't dodge his calls forever. You can't dodge his calls forever. Let's try this again. I'll say it 3 times. It was a cakewalk. It was a cakewalk. It was a cakewalk. Did you get this one? I said it was a cakewalk. Let's talk about was a. You can combine these together and it sounds like was za. So notice I'm linking the sounds and I'm taking that was, but it's a z, it's a voiced sound. So I'm going to transfer that sound to so you hear za, was a. It was a cakewalk. It was a cakewalk.
This thing was a cakewalk, right?
What does this mean to be a cakewalk? This means that something is simple or effortless. You might be familiar with the idiom to be a piece of cake. When you describe something as a piece of cake, it means simple or effortless. This is the same idiom, it's just slightly changing it to be a cakewalk.
Piece of cake.
Hopefully, you would say learning English becomes a cakewalk when you have a great teacher. If you agree, then put cakewalk, cakewalk, put cakewalk in the comments. Remember that you have to conjugate your verb to be with the subject and the time reference. This was a cakewalk in the past simple. This is a cakewalk in the present simple. This will be a cakewalk in which verb tense? The future simple. And this has been a cakewalk. Which verb tense? The present perfect. And also remember the article. It's always a cakewalk. This was a cakewalk. Let's try this again, a little more advanced. I'll say it 3 times. It's a Band-Aid fix. It's a Band-Aid fix. It's a Band-Aid fix. Did you hear this one? I said it's a Band-Aid fix. Of course, it's is our contraction of it is, it's. Band-Aid is 2 words, but to pronounce them like one, I'll take that D and transfer it to the vowel. Band-Aid, dade, Band-Aid, Band-Aid, Band-Aid fix. A Band-Aid fix is a temporary solution to a problem. To understand this expression, you need to know what a Band-Aid is. This is a Band-Aid. This is the brand name for bandage, but the brand name is Band-Aid, and native speakers just refer to bandages as Band-Aids.
I put Band-Aids on it, but...
Remember, this means a temporary solution to a problem. You could say, filling the potholes is a Band-Aid fix. This entire road needs to be repaved.
But it's just a Band-Aid fix.
Now, there are many temporary solutions to help you improve your English, but not all of them are permanent. For example, relying on ChatGPT to write for you is a Band-Aid fix. Remember the article, our noun is a fix, and then Band-Aid is an adjective, a Band-Aid fix. And although a Band-Aid fix means a temporary solution, you can't say a Band-Aid solution. You must always say a Band-Aid fix because that's the word choice in this expression. Let's try this again, a little more difficult. I'll say it 3 times. You can't rest on your laurels. You can't rest on your laurels. You can't rest on your laurels. Did you get this one? I said you can't rest on your laurels. Native speakers often pronounce T as a flap T, which means we don't push out that puff of air because it forces us to take a pause. You can't. So I don't say you can't. I say you can't. You can't rest on. So here you hear that T because I'm linking the 2 words together and I'm transferring the T sound onto the vowel. Rest on, ton, rest on, rest on. Your is pronounced in spoken English as an unstressed your. You can't rest on your laurels. This could be a hard word to pronounce depending on your native language because we have an R and an L. Lor-els. Lor-els. So divide the sounds until you're comfortable with each sound. Lor-els. And then you can pronounce it as one. Laurels. Laurels. The expression is to rest on your laurels. We use this to say that you shouldn't become too comfortable or stagnant with past achievements, past successes. You should set new goals. You should push yourself further. You shouldn't rest on your laurels. For example, the author wrote an international bestseller, but then rested on her laurels. So she had a past accomplishment, past success with this international bestseller that she wrote, but because she rested on her laurels, it means that she didn't set new goals, she didn't push herself further, so she didn't write anything after that international bestseller. She just remained successful based on her past success, but didn't achieve any new success. Let's think about this in a language learning context. Maybe you have a past success with a high score on an exam. It's amazing that you got a band 9 on your IELTS last year, but you can't just rest on your laurels. So this sounds like after your amazing accomplishment, your band 9, you stopped trying to improve. You stopped trying to improve even more. You just rested on your laurels. You had that past success and you thought you were done with language learning, which of course isn't the case. So to help motivate this friend who's resting on their laurels, you can say subscribe to JForrest English and keep improving, keep learning, keep growing. Don't rest on your laurels. Let's try this one more time, the most advanced listening exercise. I'll say it 3 times. I'm going out for a bit. I'm going out for a bit. I'm going out for a bit. Did you get this one? I said, I'm going out for a bit. Of course, I'm is our contraction of I am, I'm. I'm going out. Again, we have that flap T because I'm not going to say out. I'm going out. I'm going out. Now, many native speakers will combine all 3 of these together and they'll pronounce for as more of an unstressed fur. For a bit, for a bit. And again, that flat T on bit, because I'm not saying bit, for a bit, for a bit. You can still link them together even if you say for, or a native speaker commonly says for a bit, for a bit. Now, sometimes native speakers will pronounce the T in this case because it's at the end of a sentence. There's a period. So we have to take a pause anyway. For a bit, for a bit.
I'm going out for a bit.
To go out, this means to temporarily leave your current location, most commonly your home. For a bit is a time reference and it means for a small amount of time.
Sorry guys, I have to go out for a bit.
This is a common way that someone will say they're leaving. I'm going out for a bit. Now, where are they going? Well, remember, it's more of a they're going out temporarily. So perhaps they're going to run errands, go grocery shopping, meet a friend, or go to the movies, any small amount of time. We also commonly use this as a suggestion to say, let's leave the house and do something more interesting. We've been watching Netflix all day. Let's go out. Let's go out for a bit.
Let's go out tonight.
Now let's do an imitation exercise so you can practice these pronunciation changes and practice fast English. So I'll say each sentence again 3 times. And after each sentence, I want you to repeat the sentence out loud. Here we go. It was a cakewalk. It was a cakewalk. It was a cakewalk. It's a Band-Aid fix. It's a Band-Aid fix. It's a Band-Aid fix. You can't rest on your laurels. You can't rest on your laurels. You can't rest on your laurels. I'm going out for a bit. I'm going out for a bit. I'm going out for a bit. Amazing job! Congratulations on completing this 1-hour lesson. Do you want me to make more lessons like this? If you do, then put more, put more in the comments below. And of course, make sure you like this video, share with your friends, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. And you can keep improving your English with this lesson right now.